I might have revealed that a bit too early this time, but at least now I did remember, that is, to unmute the microphone. So yes, it is time. Let's get this thing off the screen and play something else. That's better fitting. And I might as well tell people on Skype that I'm live. Twitch TV. Oh, you have to click share. There we go. I hope that link works. But anyway. Tonight, the incredible adventures of our old friend continue. I'm sure we're all excited to see that. Just let me check who's here. Oh boy. So, as I get this set up, let me do something else real quick. And there we have it. And now let's get the... No, unfortunately, sadly there aren't any more remakes, but the last few games in the series are, very similar to the remakes, so we'll get to those sooner or later. But for now... we revisit the now familiar sound of that monkey gibbering. An attempt to capture the window, yes. Even now it is visible. Should probably resize that too. There we go. And our amazing adventure through the paranormal investigations continues. This time, in a completely different venue. The Sorceress of Smailholm. Where is Smailholm, you might ask? The answer is Scotland. Also, I might be randomly interrupted during the next 10 minutes or so, but, hopefully not. And this time we got witches. Unlike the ones in the chat, I would like to imagine, but witches. They're plotting something. A stranger they must watch very closely. Who could that be, I wonder? What a shocker. But someone was murdered? Someone called McBee is apparently calling Ben Jordan now. And he's getting international cases already. He's hitting it big. So the following day, after that transition, we arrive at the town. It certainly sounds Scottish. Will we be wanting a room? Yep, the McBees called us here to investigate a murder. So we're not entirely clear yet how the supernatural is related to this, but we will be very soon. So this is Marcus Tibbins, the owner of the hotel. The innkeeper. We got a nervous looking man. We got a man with a large hat sitting down by himself. And the hotel. Wooden doors. A quaint country inn. Some collectible plates. A seal on the Home Shopping Network. That's nice. But what we want to do is talk to Marcus Tibbins. See what he can tell us about the village of Smailholm. Small village but a rich and diverse history with many a sight to see. But he's too busy to see it. So what about these murders that we were called here for? Throat cuts, huh? Children even. Ritualistic murders, huh? Rumors of witches in the village. Witches, huh? And apparently whoever did it was captured, but it might be only a rumor. So what about these witches, can you tell us? He's not very superstitious, he says, but they say that the young woman who is apparently guilty has been captured and put into jail. Yes, and that cackling sound is the sound you hear when you get more points. So hello, Disero. This is Ben Jordan Paranormal Investigator, a quaint adventure game series. And we're talking to this innkeeper of the Scottish inn where someone has just died to tell us about himself. Yep, Marcus Tibbins here runs a hotel. Few tourists, but apparently he's been doing this for a long time, and it's a generational job. So next we talk to this guy, I believe. Wonder what his name is. Oh, he doesn't want to tell us. Oh wait, he does. It's Wallace Grimm. And he's looking very suspiciously side to side. Sometimes. He doesn't like what's been happening to the village. He doesn't know what to think. Presumably it's related to the murders, which everyone has heard of. 2 daughters were found dead in the woods with strange markings on their bodies. And it's clearly the work of the local witches. What about these witches? For years there have been strange disappearances, huh? They've just been covered up, but they've been here for a long time apparently. Strange lights and noises coming from the woods, and one of the biggest witch holidays is only 3 days away. He doesn't like it one bit apparently. So that's what he had to say. What about the guy with the big hat? Oh, it's kind of skipping by, but his name is McGee, I believe. Apparently someone's looking for us. For me, Ben Jordan? Yes, so who is this other investigator? Quite rude, he said, but he's English. He seemed kind of interested in meeting us somehow. And we will probably be meeting since apparently this is the only hotel in town. Apparently he thinks Smailholm is a nice place. Lovely buildings. So he has a high opinion of the town, but what about the murders? Horrible business. 2 children have been killed. Yes, that's like the 4th time we've heard it. Do you believe in the witches? Not completely. He believes it's possible, but he doesn't actually believe in magic. And about this prisoner I've heard about. Mary Blaine was asleep in the woods, was at the scene of the crime, and claims to have forgotten how she got there. So she's been arrested, but she might be innocent. Apparently they're gonna hang her, but they outlawed the death penalty, but they don't care. So, since we just got here, there's a storm raging outside. Let's go to our room. I forget which one it is. It's not this one, or that one, or that one. So it must be the one all the way on the right. So let's have a lie down. But only after looking at the huge window, the unlit candle, small nightstand. Yes, so let's have a lie down. Apparently we've considered that we've learned something valuable, as reflected by our score. So day 1 it is, of our investigation about these witches and this murder. Uh-oh. Who is this? I don't know, but he wants to talk to us face to face and no other way. This certainly is a piercing theme, isn't it? So apparently he's heard of us, but we don't know who he is. Percival Quentin Jones, PhD, Criminology at Oxford. And he came to solve the murders of the McBee children. But he doesn't care for the superstitions of the townsfolk. So he doesn't like us because we are a paranormal investigator. He really talks down to us. And we don't want him to get in our way, and neither does he. So off he goes. That was pleasant, wasn't it? Jeez, what an asshole, indeed. So since there's nothing else to do here, we should get started investigating. Let's leave the hotel. And how convenient, the jail is right next door. So let's see if we can meet the girl that they mentioned earlier. And there she is. An attractive young woman. I'll take your word on that, game. An old faded wanted poster. And a sturdy cell door. Which, yeah, we were in a cell the previous game. In the underwater ship. We can't take the wanted poster. And we can't open the door. So let's go ahead and talk to this woman. To the woman. There we go. So what can she tell us about herself? She's Mary Blaine. And we're a paranormal investigator. A match made in heaven. And of course she's been accused of the murders. And we want to get the truth. Oh, apparently Percival has already questioned her. Oh. And what does she think of the rumors of the witches? People think she is a witch. But she says she isn't. Her parents died when she was 6, so she was raised by her grandmother, who everyone thought was a witch, so she inherited the same accusations. And she's been discriminated against because of that, apparently. And she has no alibi, so that's inconvenient. So what can she tell us about Percy? He was quite rude, as we've already witnessed, but he didn't let her finish the story. He did not like hearing about witchcraft. So what's your side of the story? She went to bed earlier than usual. She suffers from insomnia and has been known to sleepwalk. And apparently that's the explanation she gives for why she was in the middle of the woods. And that's why she was locked up. And she is being very calm about this. That's kind of striking. And we want to be on a first name basis with her, which will come into play later, surprisingly. What about this village? The town's very pretty. A lovely forest to the east and Smailholm Tower, which we can't get inside because it's locked. But there's old books and town records inside it, and a church in town, I think, which we should check out. What about the constable? Well, that was nice. We got some information out of that, and apparently we like this prisoner. So now let's have a stroll around town. We got the hotel here. The jail right next to it. Great placement. A flower down here. A single flower. And we got an archway leading outside. But we came from there, so let's try to explore the rest of the town. We got the town square here. We got Smailholm Tower in the distance. A stone wall defending the town from something. A brass sign pointing in the direction of the church. A McGee house, the McGee house, which is apparently where we have to go, because that's where the people who hired us live. We got another well-guarded house, belonging to the Krim family. Maybe it's just the one guy we talked to earlier, Wallace Krim. A large house, which we don't like the way it's colored, which reads McBee. Okay, wait, so you got McGee and McBee. That's kind of confusing, but anyway, let's go into the McBees, since it's them who hired us. I get confused. So in we are let. Yep. Ellen McBee and Adam McBee, and someone hanging on the wall, a pale, bald man, which makes us uneasy. I wonder if that means anything. Family vacation, a blue bottle, and a bookshelf. With an encyclopedia set that we don't know about, so let's talk to these people. To the people, not the chairs. What about yourselves? Oops. The children were murdered. Which apparently they're not very concentrated about. Which is kind of weird, isn't it? But anyway. He woke up in the middle of the night. Their daughters weren't in the room. Then the constable visited them with terrible news the next morning. Apparently they didn't do anything until morning. The names were Jessica and Julia. And apparently it's very difficult to believe they're gone. And they were buried in the graveyard next to the church. And they think the witches killed them. The crazy old hag that lives in the cottage outside of town, who we have not heard about until now. But that woman is bad news, apparently. And they think Mary Blaine is working with her. They're really convinced of this, huh? So who is this old lady? A witch, they say. But they don't have proof, except for her habit of being alone in the woods. And they don't know her name, strangely enough. But she doesn't talk to anyone. So we get a point for that. Or 2 points, I didn't pay attention. So what about the town? They liked it before children were being murdered in the streets. And apparently they're leaving, going to Kelso. Because there's nothing left for them here. So what about this painting? Uncle Fred, she says. Oh, apparently he's pale and bald because he had cancer. Well, clearly that explains it, huh? So that was a very informative talk, I'm sure. So... We already questioned him about the painting, right? Yes, we already talked about the painting. So nothing more we can learn about this dude, apparently. But we did learn about the existence of a witch who apparently lives outside of town. So let's see if we can meet her. Let us see if we can get a word with her. So these are the outskirts of town. Smailholm, an old muddy path leading onto a hill, which is where we shall go. And a big old tree here. A gnarled old leafless tree, which gives us the creeps, with a large knot hole into the trunk. A signpost indicating where we have to go. So where we need to go is here, I believe. Because this is where the old woman's cottage is. That might have been her right there. But let's have a look around first. Got some tall dried grass. A small thatched roof cottage, suitable for burnination. Subtle little homestar runner not there. A pretty flower bed. Can't really make out what's inside, but we did see that old woman. So let's follow her, because apparently she has not noticed us. And you might see that there's a path leading in between these trees, but I don't think we need to go there yet, so... Let us witness this woman stopping at the riverside and... speak an incantation? And shoot lightning from her hands? Apparently we got ourselves a witch. So let's go to her now. Where could she have gone? Well, we have two choices. The path between the trees and her cottage, which is probably where she went. So let's knock on the door. Shall we identify ourselves, say we saw her by the river, or leave her alone? Well, let's do the polite thing first and identify ourselves. She doesn't want to talk to us. Maybe we shouldn't continue this line of questioning. Or maybe we should. Let's try being polite. No, she doesn't take visitors, but we did see her by the river. No way, no how. So finally, after blackmailing her, she let us in. That's great. Suddenly she's being very friendly. She's a Wiccan. Some sort of witch, but Wiccans aren't evil. They practice nature magic. Which apparently surprises her because everyone else hates her. But her name is Wilma Wiggins. And we are welcome in her cottage. So let's see what she has to say about what's been going on. Oops. What about the murders? She doesn't even know who was murdered. But she doesn't like hearing about it. She doesn't know who she could have done, who could have done it, Oh, maybe it was Dark Witches. Or an insane local. So, you know, either witches or a madman. Oh, but she knows of a spell that can determine their fate. That's interesting. Yes, the ride never ends. Very special items. An item belonging to the children. And an item belonging to someone who has been accused of the crime. Luckily, she has been. Yes, the ride will go on until its conclusion. So we got our next quest of the game. Get an item from the children and an item from someone who has been accused. But what can this woman tell us about herself? Her name's Wilma Wiggins. She came here 30 years ago. And she's been living in the cottage this whole time because they don't like the fact that she's a dark witch. That she isn't a dark witch, rather. That she's a witch. They think she's a dark witch. I really got tongue-tied there. But anyway. She lives a quiet and peaceful life, but everyone hates her. She doesn't like the townsfolk, but she does like the terrain. What can you tell us about the tower? Can't get in there anymore because someone locked it and lost the key, apparently. But there's old documents and stuff, which might prove useful. The view from the top is breathtaking. So what about these McBees, who lost their children? Yes, they think she killed them. But something seemed strange about them. They were too sad. The grief didn't seem natural, but there's something else. Might just be our imagination, but I guess we will not know. Hello, King. But appearances can be deceiving, and we should trust our instinct. So where should we go next? Well, the McBees... Oops. The McBees did say they were leaving, since apparently there was nothing left for them in the village. So let's see if we can catch them before they go. Oh, wait. There's something new in this scene. Can you spot it? A strange-looking black bird. Can we talk to the bird? The end is near. Ah, and it has a glowing eye. What an odd bird indeed. But we can't interact with it. So back into the town we go. See if we can talk to the McBees. Who lived in the horrible pink house, as you might remember. It's about time, because they're getting ready to leave. But apparently one of their daughters, bears, was taken to their grave. Hint, hint. So we go here to the church. It's been standing here for at least